Shalom, y'all. Resistance is Spellbreaker here. Today we're going to talk about what we can do to combat their efforts against us. Now, you put yourself in their shoes, okay? What makes someone a soft target? And what doesn't make them a soft target? So, I believe the answer to this is spoke of in Luke chapter 22, verse 36, and it reads, "Then said he unto them, But now he that hath a purse, let him take it, and likewise his scrip. And he that hath no sword, let him sell his garment and buy one." That's in red, y'all. So this is Jesus Christ putting heavy emphasis on being armed. A modern day sword is a firearm. So I think this is very important that we take his advice on this particular topic. Now, if I had to give you what I believe are two of the best firearms to carry, I would go with a Glock 19 or a Springfield Armory Hellcat. These are 9mm Luger pistols, and the round is beautiful. They're both beautiful firearms. I just love them, and so does all of America. Now, of course, other people are going to come on here, 40 caliber, 38, whatever. Okay, this is my personal preference, and, ballistics speak for themselves. So, it is what it is. I believe that those are the two best firearms to carry. Now, I know that someone's going to come on here and say, but I'm a felon. And what I would say to you is I would say that if you have a large group of people following you around, I would say, so what? Now, there are other ways to protect yourself, which I'm about to get into, but I'm going to say something to the felon out there. Depending on how long ago you were charged with your felony, and depending on what it was, you might be able to get your record expunged for right around $1,000. Take you a couple months to do it. Now, when you go to court, don't tell them you want your guns back. You tell them that, you want to become a rocket scientist, and that felony is holding you back from becoming a more productive member of society. If you're not too bad of a guy, they'll probably expunge your record, which will give you your gun rights back. Now, let's say you robbed a bank or something, so that's just not an option for you. Well, this is an option for you. What you're looking at there is a firearm that was made in the 1850s. I believe that's a sheriff's model. That's actually a replica of a Pieta. Now, any firearm that was manufactured, or replica of that firearm, that was manufactured before January 1st of 1899 is not considered a firearm under federal law if it does not take a fixed cartridge. So these firearms are black powder, and they take a ball. So they're ball and cap revolvers. It's a six shooter. It'll go right through you. So, single action. So you got to pull the hammer back each time you fire it. They do make a model. I don't have a picture of it. It is called the Pieta Star, or just the Star if you wanted to get a real old one. I never got my hands on one of those, but those are probably what I would do. Now, with this not being a firearm, if you get caught with it, are you still going to get arrested? Yes, the cops don't know the laws as well as someone like me who studies these things, okay? So they'll probably still arrest you, but as long as you fight it, you'll get off on the charge, because you can't charge someone in possession of a firearm when there's not a firearm. So that's one loophole for the felon to take advantage of. Also, you can order these right to your house. You don't have to fill out any paperwork. You don't have to do anything. They used to sell them at Shields and at Cabela's, paperwork free. Walk right in there. I think as long as you were 18 years old, you could buy one. Strange laws, because they are definitely capable of going right through you. So, now another thing that I'm going to talk about for the felon. Nowadays, they make these too. Well, what is that you're looking at there? That's a 9mm semi-automatic air gun. Okay? So, in my day, air guns were basically just .177 caliber for the most part. Now they've adapted to make all kinds of air guns. That's not concealable, but it is good to defend your home with, and some of them shoot, I think as many feet per second as a gunpowder round. So definitely can kill someone, definitely lethal, definitely a good thing to have. And they're silent. They sound just like a BB gun when you fire them. Now, they do make a concealable model, and it's called a Uramax. Now, they do make a Devastator round. That's what the round is for the Uramax, which is a self-defense round, which I believe is lethal. It's been a couple years since I did any research on it, but maybe check into a Uramax revolver and see if that's not something more up your alley. Another thing I want to talk about they also make repeating crossbows, pump action crossbows. They make razor tip for hunting. So you can actually have a crossbow that is basically has more than one shot. As to where in my time, all crossbows just shot one arrow. Now they have them where you can shoot multiple, and you can they make semi-automatic. I've even seen a machine gun crossbow before, believe it or not. But a little impractical, but you could defend your home with it or a car with it. Now, another thing I want to talk about, no matter how big you are, no matter how buff you are, no matter how tough you are, pepper spray. Okay? When I was being gang stalked, I always had a can of pepper spray. If 3 or 4 guys rush you, you can spray them and blind them. That's an advantage. Okay? No matter who you are or what circumstance that you're in. So get it out of your head that pepper spray is only for women. I think that you should always have pepper spray. Another thing I'm going to recommend is a lock blade. What I mean by that is a pocket knife that actually locks. When you pull that blade out, you can lock it in place and you can stab the shit out of people with it. Another thing I'm going to recommend if you're being gang stalked is body armor. Comes in many different rating levels for many different purposes. They even make clothing that you can't tell is bulletproof, but it is. I'm not saying that you're going to kill someone or that they're going to kill you. I'm saying that it's still likely. These people, gang stalkers have killed a lot of people. You cannot put anything past them. Okay? Now, when it comes to defending your home, I would say this is going to be a huge deterrent. Just a dog. Okay? Now that dog looks like he could kick some ass. But he doesn't really have to even be that dog. Even that dog, okay? I can tell you as someone who was once 15 and rather shady that a dog barking at you will send you the other way because they're identifying your position. So if you're up to no good, that's one of the last things that you want to hear. Also, I would recommend motion lights all over your house. I would put them. I would not let anyone get close to my home at night without being spotlighted. Now the next thing I'm going to show you, I have mixed emotions on. And the reason why is because I believe these can be hacked and used against you. I also believe that our government spies on us through these. And, so use your own discernment. I would say that putting these outside your home would be a good idea. Inside your home, probably not. Okay. Another thing I'm going to recommend for your home or just for anywhere, be around friends. Imagine trying to gang stalk someone who's always around their friends. Or imagine trying to kill someone or do something harmful to someone who's always around a witness that's going to testify on their behalf. That is not what you want as a gang stalker. Not in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Okay? Now we're going to talk about something else. Just about every TI that I know has a report of these people using a GPS tracker, whether it be on their cell phone or their vehicle. And these trackers, they can be battery powered or they can be hardwired into your vehicle. And, you can use something like this, which is a jammer, an electronic jammer, but it's going to jam your stuff too. And that's going to disable them from being able to follow you, which, if you hit the road doing 120 on the interstate, and they don't have a GPS tracker on you, you can probably get away from them. Now, how do you find these trackers that are inside or on your vehicle? Yeah, you can just look for them, or you use a sweeper. You can actually buy something that's a sweeper. There's actually a way that you can just use your factory radio as the sweeper. You'll have to look into that. I read an article on that, a couple years ago about how people were able to go to a certain channel on their radio, and depending on if a GPS device was on their vehicle, that staticky channel would actually sound differently. So that was one way people could tell if their vehicle, they're being bugged. But you can buy a sweeper that will help you find the GPS tracking device. And some of those GPS trackers, they only actually turn on when the vehicle's in motion. So to find these, what you would have to do is actually have a friend walk next to your vehicle, and you would drive very slow, and they would go around the vehicle and scan for it. Another thing that you can do is you can go to the people, an audio systems technician, the people who install alarm systems on vehicles. And these people would actually be able to find it as well. Another thing that I would say is, be tech savvy. Be tech savvy. If these people are GPSing, or I'm sorry, these people are tracking you with your phone or hacking into things, you're going to have to learn how to combat that. And there's ways to do that, many different ways to do that, and that'll be a whole day's worth of research for you to go do. And I will also add, if you do find one of these GPS devices in your vehicle, please go to the nearest train yard and duct tape it onto one of the train cars, okay? And then stay away from your house and let these people go follow the train around, okay? That's what I would say to do. It's always nice to get a little break from them. When I was getting stalked, I would run into an apartment building around the back door and run off into the neighborhood and disappear into a friend's home, as these people would basically surround the apartment building, and I would get little breaks, and they were nice to have a piece of my old life back. But then, of course, once you go home, it's business as usual. But anyway, I'm rambling. So that basically covers it. But we're going to end out with this. Power of prayer. We know that these people hate our king. Or we know the handlers of the Gangstalkers do. Okay, the Gangstalkers may or may not be involved in witchcraft, but we know that the people behind their presence are. So I would say prayer. I would put prayers of protection over myself, over my vehicle, and over my house every day before you leave, and give thanks when you get home. And I'll close out with this. Father, I pray that you put protection on these people who are being gang stalked. I pray that you keep them safe. In the name of Jesus. Hallelujah.